since we are in chapel. There we go. My system's warming up. Thanks, Mr. Monkey. I'm going to apologize right from the start to the faculty and the staff and the freshmen and the sophomores and the juniors, because today I'm primarily going to be speaking to the seniors. The rest of you can listen in, that's no problem. I'm not going to ask you to leave, but I'm going to be primarily talking to the seniors. And as you see the picture on the screen there, what I'm going to be talking about today is, as you leave Luther High School as students for the last time, a few weeks from now, you're going to be going out into the real world. And that's exciting, but it's also scary, or at least it should be scary. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. God tells us that we are his sheep, that he's a good shepherd and we are his sheep. And as you can see by the picture, there are wolves out there. There are all kinds of wolves out there that are ready to destroy. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit today about how to stay safe as God's sheep. Not only are you sheep, but because you have to fight to hold on to your faith, you're also soldiers in a way too. And so our first hymn, or our hymn for this morning, is Fight the Good Fight. Am I pushing the wrong button here, Mr. Monkey? There. Fight the Good Fight, and we're going to sing the first two verses of that hymn. So, because I'm talking to primarily the seniors today, and because of COVID, I haven't been able to do chapel as many times over the last several years as I would like to. I've had the opportunity to do chapel for you seniors a number of times, and even though I don't know all of you individually, I know some of you, and so I'm going to have a little conversation with you as a friend, as a former teacher. Think of me as a grandpa. Whatever fits for you, that's fine. But that's why I'm sitting today instead of pacing back and forth like I normally do. How many of you have ever accidentally told a complete stranger that you love them? Well, a few people are brave enough to raise their hand. That's awesome. That's awesome. The reason that I asked that question is when I was growing up, my parents very seldom told me that they loved me. I can't actually even think of a specific example, but it wasn't necessary because I had a roof over my head and I had food to eat and I had rides when I needed them and they took me to church every Sunday. There was no doubt that my parents loved me, but a generation or two ago that wasn't normally verbalized. Reminds me of Ole and Lena. Well, Lena was a little bit concerned because Ole never told her that he loved her. So one day she said, Ole, how come you never tell me you love me? And Ole said, well, Lena, on the day we got married, I told you I loved you. And if that ever changes, I'll let you know. Oh, come on, that's a funny joke. I didn't even get a smile from some of you. Anyway, so saying I love you is not necessarily something that a generation ago a lot of people said, but now people say it so much that it almost becomes an automatic without thinking about it. And hence the cartoon, love you, bye, right? Say that on the phone when you're talking to your parents or your grandparents or whoever it might be. And the reason that I ask that question is, I'll admit that a few years ago, I was on the phone ordering something from some business, and being so used to saying it, at the end of the conversation, I said, love you, bye, click. What did I just say? I just told the complete stranger I loved him. The reason that I bring that up is that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. People say it all the time, and I'm sure they mean it. That's not the problem. But most of the time, I wouldn't say all the time, but most of the time when I say goodbye to one of my loved ones, I'll say, goodbye, I love you, Vicki, I love you, Finn, I love you, Emily. And the reason that I bring that up is God never says, Jesus never says, love you, bye, like he's not thinking about it, or like he's not thinking about you individually, or he doesn't know you personally. No, he says, bye, love you, Doug. Bye, love you, Logan. Yeah, he calls us by name because he knows us and he loves us. He showed that to us and continues to show that to us in two very important ways. One is obviously the fact that he came into the world and offered his very life for you. The Bible itself says no greater love has any man than that, right? So that's one thing that he did about 2,000 years ago that leaves any doubt whatsoever out of our mind that he loves us. But then he continues to shepherd us, and that's, of course, what we're talking about today. So let's get into that idea of the shepherd and the sheep. God says, Jesus says, and no one will pluck them from my hand. At this point in your life, you are all God's sheep, and fortunately for you, you are in his sheep pen. Not just this physical building, but you're part of his family, and as part of his family, you are protected by him. Now he says, nobody is ever going to pluck you out of my hand. It's impossible for the devil to climb over the gate and to steal us from Jesus. But, as I'm sure you've learned many, many times throughout your life, sheep are not the smartest animals in the world, and that includes you and me as well. So even though we are safe inside the sheep pen where no spiritual harm can come to us, we know that that's not always the case. Seniors, you're about to leave Luther High School as a student for the last time. Some of you may go into the military. Some of you may go into the workforce. Some of you may go off to college. There are all kinds of different things that you're going to be doing. That's exciting, but it should also be a little bit scary, because out of the protection, control, whatever word you want to use for it, you're much more susceptible to wandering out of that sheep pen. That becomes a different story. While you're in the sheep pen, you're good. If you're not in the sheep pen, as that first picture with the wolf on it showed, now you are in danger. And that's why that's light. But you don't even have to wander completely out of the pen. It's not like, okay, if you give up your Christianity, then you're in trouble. Yes, we know that. But even as Christians, Christian sheep, sometimes we're not all that smart. Like these sheep. Okay, you're in the pen, but there's something interesting out there, Sue. You stick your head out through the openings as far as you can to see what's going on.
and now you are at risk again, right? So we have to make sure, and that's where the soldier part of it comes in, that we fight with all of our might from now until the day that Jesus takes you home to hold on to what you have and to stay in that sheep pen so that that spiritual harm can't befall you. So, class of 2023, this is for you. If I got the number right, I think there are 59 of you. I'm going to share some statistics with you that may not apply to every single one of you. Because we're Christians, our statistics are in some cases a little bit better than what I'm going to show you, but in other cases really not that much different than what I'm going to show you. So, class of 2023, 4.8 of you guys will develop alcohol use disorder. We used to call it alcoholism. Somebody decided they were going to change the name of it, I guess. 2.3 of you ladies are going to also develop alcohol use disorder sometime during your life. 5.9 of you will have substance abuse disorder at some point, so that includes alcohol, but of course all kinds of other drugs, over-the-counter drugs can be misused, prescription drugs can be misused. Obviously there are the illicit drugs, meth and all those things. Yeah, those things are out there, and they're going to be a temptation for you even more so going forward. I suspect those things are a temptation for you now, or at least to some degree now. It's going to get a whole lot worse than that. Another sad one, 21.8 of you will get divorced. Now, there's nobody at this point in their life that says, yeah, my plan in life is I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to get married, I'm going to start a family, and then I'm going to get divorced. That's not how we plan our life, but that's what many times happens in people's lives, even the lives of Christians. And I suspect that some of you probably come from homes where your moms and dads have gotten divorced over the years. 0.5, in other words, 1/2 person will spend time in either jail or prison. So look at it this way. If we include the juniors, between the juniors and the seniors, possibility that one of you juniors and seniors is going to end up in jail or prison someday. Again, that's not something you plan for, but some of the faculty members that have been around a little bit longer and were teaching when I was teaching remember the names of at least a couple of people that I can think of that went to prison and I believe are still in prison. Again, nobody plans for that, but that points out the temptations that there are out there, especially when you stick your neck out or stick your head out of the sheep pen, or worse yet, wander outside of the pen. I have another statistic for you, and this one I know to be a fact. All 59 of you will die, unless Jesus comes to get us first. That's a given. You may or may not become an alcoholic. You may or may not become a drug addict. You may or may not get divorced. You may or may not go to jail or prison, but you will die. And that, because you know it's going to happen, you need to plan for. And of course, that's what you have been studying here at Luther High School, and probably for a lot of you at your Christian Day School over the years, in your home, in Sunday school, in church on Sunday morning. Jesus died for you so that you may live for him. So he died for you 2,000 years ago, which gives you that golden ticket that gets you into heaven with him someday. But it also is an encouragement for you to live for him from now until he comes to get you. Some of the faculty members remember a young man who died in a car accident just a couple years after graduated from Luther High School. Faculty members might remember others. I remember one young man in my oldest daughter's class. He was in his 20s and he died of a heart attack. Great, big, strong, physical guy, played football and everything, died of a heart attack. It can be soon. It could be when you're 100 years old. My boyhood friend's mom just died last Saturday at the age of 99, which, oddly enough, she died on her birthday. Kind of a weird thing, but yeah, so you could live to be 99, you could live to be 18. But you are going to die, and you need to be prepared for that. Jesus himself says, if you live by what I say, you are truly my disciples. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Jesus tells us we need to live as his disciples, and the blessing that he gives us when we live as his disciples is that we know what's true and what's false. Our world today, our society says, oh no, I know the truth. Oh no, I know the truth. Oh no, I know the truth. Well, it's my truth. There is only one truth. It's God's truth. You know what that is, and you need to stay with that. Now, if you ask your parents, they probably, when they were your age, watched a TV series called Hill Street Blues. Some faculty members may remember that. It was about a police department in a big metro area, and in the show, the commander would gather the detectives together and they'd go through the briefing for today, and he would always leave them with an important message at the end of his conversation with him, and I want to leave you with that same conversation today. Okay, Mr. Monkey, too far, there we go.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there. 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 Hey, let's be careful out there. 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 And hey, let's be careful out there.
Good morning, everybody. Just a few reminders. Please, students, look at that survey, fill out that survey. It was sent to your Outlook email. Seniors, please get pictures into Emma McCullough by today, I think. And I think that's about it for me.
All right, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed your sleeping in a little bit, juniors and seniors. Where was the breakfast location of choice? I heard Blue Moon a few times. Anywhere else? No, just sleeping in. Okay. Good participation this morning. All righty, great. All right, let's do this. Everybody stand up. There you go. Get a little blood flow going. And Mr. Kuntz talked about just that idea of how many of you have said I love you to a stranger this morning. Wonder how many times we've actually done it with our fellow Christians who are in the sheep pen with us. So I think, and we can all take this the right way, let's tell those around us that we love them. Yeah, regardless of how much grief I give you, right? All righty. Go ahead, have a seat. Thank you, Allie, for playing this morning. Thank you, Mr. Kuntz, for your message this morning. And I'd be remiss if I didn't do this myself. I could say this to all of you. I love you. Right? All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So we've got some extra stuff we got to get done today. This works as a great opportunity to get some trainings done, drill work that we need to have done for a variety of reasons. A, just to make sure you guys know what's going on, what to do, where to go, and all that good stuff. But most importantly, so we're prepared just in case.